You can begin it, John.
Okay. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the July Stockton Astronomical Society meeting. Um, I think we've got a lot of good stuff in this meeting, so I'm glad we're all here together. Um, Hello to Jerry and Ray on Zoom. Thank you guys for joining. We're going to go ahead and get right into our program and with our presentation, and I'll do the introduction of our speaker. Okay.
Good.
Oh, it's only Jared.
There's trouble. It's the next room over there, Jerry.
Okay, Pat Leman, a self-proclaimed science and technology geek, I believe that part, traded Buffalo, New York for burgeoning Silicon Valley. His lifelong passion for tech began in 1969. Well, that was a good year. Captivated by Rosie the Robot on the Jetsons. You guys remember that cartoon? By 1979, he had built his own computer and began coding simple games. After studying electrical engineering at University of Buffalo, Pat embarked on a dynamic career spanning hard disk drive design, manufacturing, logistics, procurement, financial software, and data center management. It sounds like a lot of turnover there. A two-time retiree, hopefully it'll stick this time. He's now navigating a new normal, re-engaging in hobbies and new learnings. His love for astronomy, sparked by tracking Mars retrograde motion in 1984, remains a constant. You have to tell us about that, Mars tracking. So Pat has a great presentation. I think you're all going to be very interested to hear. So let's give Pat a round of applause and welcome him.
Thank you. You know what? To give you a little bit of background, and I'm running two computers because out of an incredible amount of concern, we weren't sure if I was going to be able to run this software in this room. So I have presentation material that I've pre-recorded, but let me share my screen.
And I warned Pat that if he has software failures, we'll take him out in the parking lot and beat him up. So
Yeah, Tim had me concerned there. Let's see. Is that not? Did not go. Oh, there it goes. So I have to explain something first because I had to explain it to my mother. If you remember the Jetsons, there was Judy, and Rosie. Um, and yeah, and honestly, I fell in love with Rosie. You know, as a 10-year-old, my mom said that that explained a lot about me. But in all sincerity, I wrote this story. My mom had a conversation with my teacher when I was 10 years old because I had written a story about how someday people would sit at home and build robots to go do their job for them. And the concern was you'd have to work constantly at rebuilding your robot so someone else didn't take the job away from you. It feels like today. So yeah, a little bit about open space. I came across this application through a TED Talk. Open space is actually an application that is funded by NASA's activities, and the real goal behind it is to take all of the knowledge that NASA can collect into one location. It started out as a planetarium program, and it's being, if you will, downscaled for use on laptops because their intention is to get into STEM programs. So they started this open space application. It's actually an open source tool. It's freeware. I will tell you, it's not a replacement for the tools that we're used to using. It doesn't replace Stellarium or anything else. It's more for presentation purposes. what they're really drawing from is a host of information and data that they've collected over the years. Partnered through a few planetariums, universities. They have doctoral students actually doing most of the work to pull the information together. There's some great imagery that I hadn't come across in different ways of manipulating the data that's there. So I'm starting with a quiz. Yep. Yeah. What's the benefit to dating Jeff Bezos? You get Amazon Prime for free. I guess he's married now. You never have to pay for dinner. You get to go anywhere in the world. 5 friends went up, right? But don't call them astronauts. They're certainly not astronauts. I'm sure they got free hair and makeup and outfits. But I can't offer you that. But today, call me Pat Bezos because I want to take you on a tour that's about as good as what they did. So I've prepared our vehicle. I would ask you to all don your spacesuits, but I didn't think to tell you to bring tinfoil with you. That's my 21-year-old daughter now. But so I'm going to start us here.
That's this building?
That's this building. So we're launching from this parking lot, hopefully with your tinfoil ready to go. We have our cardboard space ship ready. Oh, come on.
Can I interrupt you briefly? You don't have any audio with this video, do you?
I have it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I have it off, but that's not what
I mean audio that will play as video, not audio of your laptop in your microphone.
There is audio embedded in this video, but I just have it off right now.
Okay.
Is that okay? So sorry, we're at liftoff now. Leaving here, and if you look up here, what we're really seeing is a little bit tough to see is an elevation. We're at 656 meters. The application itself, it has a series of data, not only external outer space based, but it actually has Earth-based data. So you can go off and do something like you can visit Yosemite National Park, but here we are looking off to the west towards Mount Diablo, and we'll continue to launch. And what you'll see is we'll approach a point where we can see the entire Bay Area. We're actually passing through that elevation that the Blue Origin will top out at. So when we get to the peak here and start to slew around, we will actually be about 50% higher. So we're at about 172 kilometers right now in space. The application allows you to pan, zoom, slew. You can look at a given object within the solar system and you can lock on it so you can rotate around it. So right now I'm rotating around, locked off the Earth. Essentially, this is the view that they would have gotten from Blue Origin back towards the sun. The lines that you see are the orbital patterns for the planets and the moon. Oh, I cheated us, but
And is that archive data or current?
it's actually current in that when you're looking at any of the you know what, Eric, I think this is still buffering within my PowerPoint a little bit, but I just cheated us because I actually had a flight out to the International Space Station because the geometry for the International Space Station is embedded, and you can watch real time, not only from the space station down towards the Earth, but you can look up towards it. So here, I just flew from the International Space Station to the moon. So the imagery that we get off the moon, because the detail is so clear, you can actually dive into a crater with within the application, I'm locked onto the moon right now, so I'm able to rotate around it and focus on it. I'm also able to, well, you have the shading. You can turn the shading off so you can actually get the detail for any of the detail that's on the backside of the moon. This is the Clementine crater that we see right on the limb of the moon that we normally don't get an opportunity to go into. So here's a dive down into the crater itself. And what's impressive to me is the level of detail that you can get. So what we're going to do is dive into this crater and look at the wall of the crater. Now, I'll be honest with you, is to run this application, it's a large application, and the reason I have my wife's laptop here is this is an older gaming laptop, so it has a stronger graphics card in it than my smaller laptop. But what you would notice is as you're going through, up here is a frame per second rate. So that gaming laptop was running about 23 frames per second. If your computer isn't fast enough, this may drop into the 10 number, in which case the graphics gets real choppy. The other thing that you'll notice is, as I was recording this, sometimes the imagery it takes a little bit for it to get clearer because it's continually going out to grab data. So the application itself doesn't have all the imagery built into it. If you prepare ahead of time, you can preload some of it. But what it'll continue to do is go out and do refreshes. So from for purposes of looking at the planets themselves, you have the ability to rotate. You can turn the atmosphere on and off. You'll see that when we get to Mars. And then you can just rotate around the Magellanic Clouds and look back out into space. Don't know. Deep enough that actually we could look at the sidewall, look up at the wall. So if I take us to the next slide in my deck. And sorry, it seems to take a moment for it to catch up and load. But all I'm doing here, so I was anchored on the moon. I'm just gonna do a quick jump to Mars.
Jump to Mars.
Yeah. Yeah. Elon didn't have this capability yet, but you can see I went to Mars. By the way, you can see when like any astronomical application, there's a date and time. So you can adjust the date time settings on it. And in this case, I'm actually going to a side menu, a scene menu, and I'm going to turn off the atmosphere on Mars, and then I'm going to turn off the shading. So you can actually get a better view of the entire planet. As a side note, when I look at this, I think of this in terms of STEM application and tools for us to actually use when we're talking to other groups. If I remember, let's see, I don't remember how detailed I get into this, but as you look at the moon, you look at Mars, you actually have the ability to turn on a set of labels. So as you dive into Mars or the moon, you can see all of the known craters and the known physical attributes of the planet. Deimos and Phobos. You can turn the trails on and off, and you could turn the labels on and off. And what you're seeing right there is that it's tricky to run this off of with a mouse. I don't know if planetariums typically use a joystick. I know there's a joystick setting for this. But I have had a little bit of trouble at times getting used to mouse control on it. So it's a little finicky, but it'll go back to what was real time, and you'll see motion in the background. So it's continually trying to get to real time for any of the information or any of the imagery that it's pulling up. And I won't bore you. I may skip a slide or two, but I did, just as a quick jump. Did a jump to actually focus on Phobos, so you can go in and you can rotate around Phobos or Deimos as well. So the imagery is there, the data is there, the positioning is real, and the imagery is pretty darn spectacular relative to, I think we can do a lot of these types of things with Stellarium and some of the applications that we're using, and we can find this data in these types of images, but to have them all in one application is what actually got my attention.
Looking towards the galactic center there.
Yep. Yep. And apologize because my nose is running. But through keyboard controls, you could turn on and off the labeling and the star trails themselves. And I'm just diving back into Deimos. So you can do from a STEM perspective, if we were, from a classroom perspective, if you're trying to do any kind of a tour or to demonstrate, it's easy to do this type of activity. And these were recordings that I made within the application itself. So the recordings are embedded in there, and frankly, because I was concerned, in fact, here's the recording window, because I was concerned about the rate of playback, and I do have it running here live, and it's running pretty well. I chose to be careful.
So you're actually pulling data off the internet rather than out of your hard drive.
Right. Part of what it will do is, as I created these scenes that I was looking for, it pulls some of the data. It actually will pull a lot of data and store it locally. It won't pull Earth-based data and store it locally. So that image of this building from the rooftop takes a little bit to refresh. But the rest of these are actually running off of were running off my laptop because I had to run this so many times.
You mentioned earlier that it can preload data. That's independent of your recording though, right?
Yes, the preload of data occurred when I first started to model these out.
Okay.
So it gives you this type of freedom to actually travel around. Now, I'll tell you, the one disappointment that I had in it is that it does a great job with do a quick flyby, but it does a great job with the solar system data. When it comes to any deep space objects, in its native form, the application does not have the image per se. It has an icon that tells you the type of image or type of object it is, gives you an idea of distance from the Earth. But what they've managed to do is build in another application that goes to the Worldwide Telescope collection of imagery, and it allows you to build the images off of that. So I think this was just a quick flyby, and I'm gonna actually pass on this if you. So this is where it started to get interesting for me. Solar system is pretty cool, but there's something in here that will allow us to look at the radiosphere. So if we think about the radio data that we've actually pushed off the Earth since relatively since World War II, you can create a sphere around the solar system so you could see the distance that our information has moved. To do this, I just went back and I said, oh, I'm going to dive back into the sun as an anchor point. So as I pull back out into space, we have a relative position from that. It's got an image of the sun there. Nothing special in that, but I anchored myself again to the sun, and I'm starting to pull back and am turning on the radiosphere. And part of this is that the radiosphere actually helps as you go deeper to look at the Milky Way to get a perspective on where we really are. And that's what I'll be doing is, this is a little my OCD. You see, I end up rotating things, for a perspective. And you could see distance. We're 2 light days away from the sun. We're actually pulling out. This is the outside of the radiosphere that we're looking back at the sun, at our solar system as it pulls away. And it gives us that radiosphere as a perspective for size. From there, as I continue to zoom out, at least we can see where we belong in the solar system, or in the universe, rather.
Very signals to progress to the space so far.
Yeah, and I should have looked at it when it was up there.
About 100 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. So here we are now. Obviously, my first question was, how'd you get a picture of the Milky Way? Yeah, my cardboard. Yeah, it's my cardboard spaceship. No, what they did was they used NGC 1232 because they said that's the closest analog that they have for perspective. So I just rotated around the sun because I'm still anchored to the sun. And the dot is really the radiosphere. So you can rotate back and forth. And the dots that we see are primarily galaxies that are there based on the cataloging that's been done. All the catalogs are rolled into there. So the color is actually a breakdown on the catalog. They're colored by catalog. So you can, I just turned on the Milky Way arm names and rotating back around the sun. Oh, there's actually a black effect that is out here, but if you'll watch as we pull back the large and small Magellanic clouds. So we're pulling back now away from the Milky Way, back out into the universe. And we can actually travel out to the microwave background. So, I may, yeah.
So that picture right there is from data. It's not just made up. That's data.
Yeah, it's all data based on size, proximity, location, and boy, you have to, is it 13.8 billion light years to the edge of to the microwave background. I think that's the number.
Yep.
So,
Yes and no. I mean,
yeah,
from our point of view, it took 13.8 million, but the expansion was like 94.
Yeah.
So.
so there is the edge of our data. In fact, now we moved, I guess, outside of time. What I really found interesting in this too, in working back through, I'm diving back in towards the sun, but there's this effect that happens that I couldn't quite understand. And in fact, I was talking to a couple of people, by the way, infrared data and visual data in this center section. So there, and part of it's catalog coloring that they're doing just so they can keep track of it. But it's a little harder to see here, but just rotating, I'm rotating right now because I was looking at that effect that happened. And I was trying in my own mind to understand why that would occur.
Shape that you pointed out.
Yeah, the hourglass shape.
The Milky Way itself blinds us.
Yeah.
into direction. So I think that is.
That's exactly what it is. So, yep. So we're blinded by the Milky Way, the arms of the Milky Way themselves. So we can't really see off into these directions well. Let's see here. Yep. But yeah, that's exactly it. Because until I got to a point where I said, okay, wait a minute. If I zoom back in on the Milky Way galaxy image, is that an alignment aspect of it? And it was. So now as I dive deeper in here, by the way, if I could, Eric asked me, did I have voiceover? I actually did a voiceover on this deck. But I did it in PowerPoint and I don't know how to give it to anybody who would want it. So you're welcome to it. I can give it to people, but I have a companion that I did that actually is installation instructions and detail on how to use the menus and the scene setting. So if anybody's interested in trying to load this and play with it, I do have that, although we'll have to figure out how to put it up on the Google Drive so people could access it. What I'm going to do next is start to dive in. So you see these icons appear. The yellows are, if I remember correctly, those were the globular clusters. Hey, Eric, could I use the audio off of this and shut up for a minute? Only because the next piece of material I have, I explained better there than I probably will be able to do right now. Because
The reason why I was asking earlier is when you share, there's a link, a checkbox to include audio. So you can, if you did that, yes. If not, you'd have to stop sharing and reshare and enable that to hear the audio of the video.
Okay. Well, I may ask you to help me then if it doesn't come up. But essentially, so this version or this level of the application tells you that you have objects, deep sky objects, but it doesn't tell you where. And the next video I have is actually on let's see if well, yeah. Let me see what do I need to do? Turn
Just
my
stop sharing.
Yep, stop. Okay. Oops.
And then reshare. But now when you choose your screen or app to share, there should be like a checkbox somewhere off to the side to enable audio.
Share sound.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there you go.
Yep. Okay. Oh, I want to go back, sorry.
In this video, I want to show you how to bring up deep sky images within OpenSpace. So natively within OpenSpace, you don't have deep sky images available. The background that we're looking at here is a single image that you cannot really fly to deep sky objects nor display the images themselves. So to accommodate that, what OpenSpace has done is they partnered with worldwidetelescope.org, which is an initiative to bring forward all of the sky catalogs, imagery that goes along with those, Hubble, James Webb telescope, everything that's available in image form. And that is, it is an add-in that's launched using this telescope icon. Once you click the telescope, you want to click the plus button to add the Sky browser. You can see what it's doing is it's pulling from the Worldwide Telescope catalog. This will open 3 windows for you. This first window, and by the way, these are, you can resize these windows, but the first window is where you view objects. The second window is the direction that it's pointing in the sky, and this third window is the menu. Now, the easiest way to use this menu, by the way, is to dock it to the right-hand side using that icon. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to zoom away from the Earth and just turn this so we could see the screen a little bit better. So as the Worldwide Telescope application integrates with OpenSpace, it views this section of the sky, and this is an object that's available in the sky. To actually slew to that position, you click on the object. That comes up here as a viewable object. Now, that's nice, but what you really want to do is be able to pick what you want to view. So I'm going to delete that object right now from our view, and I'm going to say that there's a drop-down menu here. I don't want to be locked into just the view that the pointer was here or here. I want to be able to search. So I want to be able to search across all images or across sky surveys. I'm going to go across all images. And what I want to look at is the bubble nebula. So across all images, I want to type in NGC 7635 to bring up the bubble nebula. So here's a wide field view. You'll see that as I clicked on that, the pointer moves and it begins to zoom in the view for the location of the bubble nebula. So here's a wide field view, and within that wide field view, using my mouse, the center scroll wheel, I can zoom in. By the way, if I wanted to move around the sky, I would use my mouse by doing a left click, and I could move around the sky within that image. But here's the wide field view. To know the type of asset you're looking at. So you could see by clicking the question mark what the image is, who owns the view, and then this read more button. If you want to understand more about that image, the content, the detail, if you click the read more button, that will open your web browser and take you to the web page that's associated with this image. But I'll close that piece there, and I'll say, okay, within the view here, within my view, let's change this, images within the view, within this view window, these are all the images that are available for me to look at. What I can do with these is I can stack them. So here's the first one that I have viewed. It's come down here. By the way, there's an opacity slider. I can bring the image forward or back. You'll see how that applies as I click on the next view. So I want to see this view. Now what it's done is it's stacked that into my viewing window, and I can bring that forward, bring up the opacity on that, or I can flip the stacking. So I have my wide field stacked first here, or I have my latest image stacked on top of it. Now I could continue to zoom in here. I can turn back my wide field view a bit if I choose to, and keep my bubble, my front image fully zoomed. And as I zoom in on this, on an object, you'll see that the images, the cataloged images will change. But if I continue to zoom in, images within the view, here's what I have available to me, and here's a shoulder of the bubble that I can display. So here are my 3 images stacked. Again, here's the stacking, the wide field, the medium field, and then that shoulder. And I can zoom in on that shoulder of the bubble nebula and get that level of detail. And again, same question mark. I can get the owner of the asset, who loaded it, and then read more about the asset. As things go into Worldwide Telescope, there's a minimum requirement that they have a web page with the asset information on it. So that's a quick tutorial of how you use Worldwide Telescope within the OpenSpace application to view deep sky objects or surveys. I guess one thing I'll do real quick here, if I go to surveys, sky survey, and pull up the Unwise survey, which is actually the wide field infrared survey, and I stack that in, and I'm gonna bring that image to the bottom of my stack. I like the way that view's better. You can see what I've done. This is the wide field infrared survey. Laid into there was my wide field, my narrower field, and then my deep sky image on the shoulder.
The James Webb image.
It's a pretty cool add-on. So play with that one. I will caution you, you should be hooked up to the internet with a fairly good access, because the images themselves have to load real time off of the internet.
I'm going to stop share real quick and turn off that audio. Hey, we're almost home, but it's time to go back home. So. So as we start our journey back home, back towards our solar system and back towards Earth. By the way, whenever you load the application, it comes to a default window that is the Earth, and it's the latest set of satellite photos that have been processed. Well, that was May 25th. So that's how you know that it's actually finished loading, is when you get the image. And if I take you, let's do a little flyby on this one. I wanted to take you home, but I wanted to show you the Chinese Tiangong space station. Because that's the red line. The orange line that you see in a lot of the image around the Earth is the International Space Station. This is Tiangong, and I've never found or tried to see it as it passed through. And I cheated you because I didn't show you the International Space Station. Ironically, on the International Space Station, you can actually fly into one of the holding bays. Because they have all the geometry. They don't obviously don't have the geometry here. I figured we should check in and make sure that they're okay. And now I'll just take you home. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we might need the rice. And this is just, taking us back. So what I've done is created some tools to load this. I'll be honest with you, one huge caveat. So I did this back in May before I went on vacation. I went to visit my mom for 3 weeks. And while I was away, they came out with their latest upgrade. Some improvements I think on the menu system. I haven't loaded it because I was afraid to break my presentation for tonight by loading the latest version. So I will go play with that a little bit. I couldn't get us into our parking lot. I think here's the back door, so you got to walk across the street. But I will test the latest version, and we'll figure out how to put the load instructions up on the Google Drive, I think, or I'll figure out how to get it distributed. But I created the load instructions and a little bit of a audio walkthrough on the menu systems, because this scene menu that comes up here is a little tricky. It takes a little playing with to get straight. But aside from that, that's open space. And that's what I had for you today. So.
Okay, I'm sure you all are anxious to get your hands on it, but meanwhile, we're going to ask Pat questions. So if you have a question, pick up the microphone so the people on Zoom can hear you. The people on Zoom, you're welcome to open your microphones and ask questions.
Okay, good. So this is the live app, by the way. It's running on this that happens to be don't ask me why my wife has a 10-year-old gaming laptop, but this is actually the live app. If you were running wirelessly here at 20 frames per second, which is pretty good, I can't get that off of my standard laptop. But all of the same functionality is here, and I think this Worldwide Telescope browser is the coolest thing and that was a fairly recent addition. I guess they had been working on that for some time. And I'll leave you with any questions, but there's an open space team that has project managers from across the different planetariums, a couple of universities and NASA. And I've joined them as to provide some feedback on the application. Yeah, and I shared with them that my focus was whatever we can do to get this so it runs on a lower level machine so that they can really achieve their goal, which is to make this data, usable to everybody. So that's the focus that I have with them right now. But unless there's a question.
Is it GMT time ahead of us?
Yeah.
Why is that yesterday? It says Wednesday.
Oh, you know what? It may be satellite timing. The image load timing.
You had a slide that showed the different telescopes it used. I don't know if you can go back to that slide or not.
Yeah.
But there's a variety of telescopes, both terrestrial and space telescopes, and different wavelengths of the scopes. So again, my question is, can we view in different wavelengths?
Yes. The sky surveys themselves. So like the Unwise one is microwave. But yeah, the different surveys. Yeah.
It's on there.
Yeah.
Obviously X-ray.
Yep. So yeah, and that's all, you would use that all within this, within the worldwide telescope view oops. Oh, so if we went into here, sorry, I don't want to take you off of where you want to be, Tim, but if I go into see, this is the load.
Oh, this is where you're trying to connect via the internet in this room.
Yeah, so this will be a little bit slower. But if we go into search.
Why did it choose those initial two images?
Because they're within that.
Within the field of view.
Yeah,
okay.
Within that field of view right now. But if we went in, my Zoom menu is covering up part of. Oh, so we would to pull up the Chandra images, you'd want an image, the name of an image that you're trying to pull up. So, because it searches by an image name.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah.
the Chandra has an image of.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I thought I was going to get you there.
You can look at different telescopes in different wavelengths.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And hopefully they make it a little bit more user-friendly as they go forward and continue to load the data. And the web pages for the images are actually pretty good because it's not just a little bit of data. It's really when it was taken, where the image was taken, what they were expecting to see, all the details off of that. Yeah.
Can you change the time to project into the future?
You can. And yeah, what it does, or let me get rid of that.
He's trying to get ahead of the stock market tomorrow.
Yeah. I was playing with this the other day because I'm not sure. So that's the future. Clearly, there's no.
Yeah, there's no cloud info.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know why there's a remnant satellite.
Is that the blue screen? Yeah.
It might be, yeah. But yeah, it's so you can play with the time toggle on it and go forward in time. But it's interesting because I guess it could be of value to do that. I haven't messed with it a whole lot to try to go.
Like maybe to view like an eclipse or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let me just let's see. I need to stop sharing.
Earlier, you said it's not meant to replace any of our current planetarium software that we use, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have like any telescope go-to functionality that you can use with it, right?
No, it doesn't. But if you mentioned something, so hang on a second. I have to share.
Just curious, what do you all think about this? Do you see yourself being able to use it or being a useful tool? Thank you, John. Do you think it's a useful tool for personal use, for
I think it's a
public outreach?
useful tool for public outreach
Yeah.
to make a presentation for specific subjects and so forth.
Yeah.
If you look at this, I went in and I just said, okay, April 8th of 2024, the solar eclipse. And so again, satellite imagery from that day, you could see Florida here. I don't necessarily know why that's dark, and maybe it was a timing thing with the eclipse itself. But as this runs, I said, give me 5-minute increments for each second to speed it up. And I had created the recording for it. And you'll see the shadow of the eclipse start to come across the earth. Now halfway through, I'll change that view a little bit because these are satellite-based images. But you can also go back and I changed it to change the way that the eclipse is being shown, and said, show me a hard shadow on that instead. So here's totality and then the eclipse itself. So from a
Can you turn the clouds off? Is that a possibility?
Can you, pardon me? Oh yeah, you can. You can turn off the atmosphere. So yeah, I could have done that. It's kind of interesting to see the International Space Station flew through the eclipse. And I think they made 2 passes over the course of the eclipse. But here's totality continuing to travel on. So yeah, it looks like a cool tool for STEM type things for presentation. And I don't know yet that I would use it instead of, or how I would use it to replace Stellarium or Sky Tools or anything like that.
So, I should use the microphone.
Oh,
Thank you, sir. Cassini flew through the rings of Saturn a number of times. Is that data that this could pull up and you could fly through the rings of Saturn?
you may be able to, and I'll be honest with you, when you load this application, there are a series of scenes that they've pre-created. And at this point in time, I don't know how to run them. Oops, I should go back. Oh,
Files you loaded up in the machine.
No, this is, well, to an extent it is, as you load the application, when you hit that start button, it starts loading assets. And let's, it takes a bit, but Jerry, back to your question, there are a series of scenes that they've created already in the application. I haven't messed with them because I'll be honest with you, I poked at a couple of them and it wasn't clear to me, and I figured I got to go ask for help. But you're right. I think you should be able to do that same Cassini trip if it's not here yet.
To add to that, what would be really cool when it finally gets there is to have the Europa Clipper trip taking off from Earth, hitting around Mars, coming back, doing a whip around Earth, and then out to Europa.
You know what? I know that within the application, they maybe a moot point here. It's trying to, I have it loaded, but I've seen demonstrations of those, but if you go to, just go out onto YouTube and you start to do a search for open space, people have created those and they're dropping them out there. Different types of video, with some description associated with it. But I'm feeling my way through this thing. I thought it was kind of cool in the beginning, and just wanted to share it. So.
Dessert.
And Tim, unless you have anything else or anybody else has any questions or.
Do you know how they're using it?
Pardon me? How the team is using it?
How their own team is using it?
Yeah, they start.
Or like the Hayden Planetarium uses it, don't they?
Yeah. So it's Hayden Planetarium. There's a handful of planetariums. So because that's where this all started, which kind of surprised me that I don't quite know why the iconology is used native in the application, and that the Worldwide Telescope was an add-in. So I don't know how planetariums typically run or how they create their programs, because it seemed a little bit off to me that it wasn't image based initially. But yeah, it started off at, really, if you want to see an interesting TED Talk, there's one from a guy named Carter Emmart, who is the program director at the Hayden Planetarium. And in the TED Talk, he introduced this digital universe was what it was originally called. But I think that's even 6-7 years ago that he introduced it. So I think they did their planetarium work and now they're kind of working down.
So I tell you what, how about if we could ask you to put together an email that has a set of the loading instructions. Share that with us on our Yahoo group email, and maybe include that TED Talk on there also. So that's what we would need to get started with this, right? Okay. And do we need a 10-year-old gaming laptop, or can we have? Yeah, a 10-year-old will do it.
My son-in-law works for NVIDIA, and he was looking at what I was doing one day, and he was laughing at me. And he said, "Do you want me to just build you a desktop computer?" And I said, "No, I don't want that." But I think if you're on a desktop with a hardwire to the internet, you're probably going to do pretty darn well. But I think the big thing is watch for that frame per second rate at the top of the screen, because if you get down to like 10, it's going to get real choppy.
And that'd be what, a graphics card?
Yeah. Yeah, that becomes the power of the graphics. But yeah, this is a 10-year-old gaming laptop.
Works good.
Yeah, but yeah, happy to do that. I will get, I'll get something out to everybody because I have the material prepared. And I just got to figure out how to get it onto our Google Drive or someplace where we can share it because it's chunky.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll work through that. So.
Yep.
Excellent. Thank you, Pat.
Wait, I have one more thing for you. Sorry.
Oh, dessert bonus.
No, there is a bonus to having walked, sat through all of this stuff. See if I can get to my last page. Maybe I can get to my last page. Okay. We did this, we did all this, we don't want to do it again. Oh, I know it. Every time I try to advance, I think it's trying to reconcile the video thing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Yeah, I can't stop until I get there. You go. On this day, spoke. We still find the title of class for one.
Okay.
We ventured farther than any human in history without ever leaving your seat and you listen to me drone on for 40 minutes. So
It was a pleasure.
yeah.
I enjoyed the trip.
And if you ever need to create something like this, generous.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you for our certificate.
Thank you all. Yeah, our astronauts and Tim, I think we have money for tattoos, right?
Yeah. Tattoos on your way out the door.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Again, thank you, Pat. Excellent presentation. As we transition here to kind of the miscellaneous and the announcements portions, I think that somebody brought us our refreshments. Manasseh, what'd you bring? Excellent, excellent. So you guys go ahead and help yourself as we proceed through the announcements. We don't need to wait to the end of the meeting, but go ahead and dig in. And we'll transition over to the announcements when Eric brings up the slides here. Hey, check it. Yeah. Yes, I do. We made 5-10 minutes. Perfect. Yeah, we'll give you an opportunity here just a little bit.
Whatever.
So I'm sharing the screen.
Oh, okay.
What would be the presentation? Yes. As far as the, or it's a fun about.
Was that something? Yes, it's a show about nothing. No, it was great.
So how's Grand Canyon?
Good.
Oh, it's better than
Yeah.
that, man. It's awesome.
Oh.
It was jealous.
No, you're fine. You don't have.
I have yet to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not done.
No.
Maybe.
But we
Yeah, we've got a bunch of stuff to go over. We still have 45
You're
minutes.
supposed to near to Laurel Bay approach. South of, Lake Sur, there he goes north of Santa Barbara. So there, yeah, that's something about high school. No, there's. There's the other thing. But anyway, you're there. Right, although backed up. Sierras. Oh, that's true.
Okay, y'all want to jump back into your seats and we'll press on through with the meeting. Okay, this slide should look familiar to you, all the announcements of the dates that are upcoming for SAS. June 28th, we're out at Oak Grove Park. Should be a nice warm evening. So y'all come out.
Would have been there already. June 28th.
We're in July.
I was at the coast. You were in Yosemite.
2 theaters. I was in Oregon.
Yeah, I can't, yeah, we really can't go back in time any further though. So let's start with July 10th. We're here. What's going on here with this slide?
All right.
Yeah. Okay, coming up on the 19th is Highway 4. July 26th is our high altitude. Stay tuned to the Yahoo emails for announcements of where everybody's going. We should have some good weather. Hopefully the clear smoke and get out and do some star party observing. Coming up August 2nd, we're out at Oak Grove Park. August 14th, our general meeting back here at Harmony Grove. Eric has arranged for Dr. Laura Schaefer of Stanford University to speak to us on planet formation and atmosphere formations, including exoplanets. So that should be a really good presentation. Highway 4, and you all realize that when we say Highway 4 for like a low altitude star party, there's the option of either Campo Seco or Highway 4. So again, staying tuned to the emails threads will tell you where everybody's going. August 23rd should be another good night up at the high altitude, and that's the date we have selected for our potluck. So put that date on your calendar, August 23rd, and we'll be talking about it more and seeing who's coming up and kind of work through the logistics of a potluck. And then August 30th, astronomy in the park at Oak Grove. Anybody recognize the image in this photo? The backside of the moon.
It says lunar reconnaissance
Yeah.
orbiter.
Yeah. It's the backside of the moon.
Those who bother to read it.
But you know, I seldom see a picture of the backside of the moon, but I started looking at this and I realized that there's no mare. There's no seas on there. I mean, there's one, it looks like. But why is that? Why are there?
Protecting the front side from all the stuff that's going to hit it from this direction, so it's smoother. The backside doesn't have earth protection.
Okay, but
It's still being bombarded with new stuff.
okay, but the mare were formed by lava flows. Does that account for the position?
Know that there's new lava flows. But the idea is so typically those are gonna be older. And on this side of the moon, there's things aren't as old because it's being bombarded all the time.
Okay. Okay.
Your might have had more as it was before.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a question, because when you started your presentation, that's what it looked like to me. And I thought you said it was the front side of the moon, but it looked just bumpy. And so I thought it was the back side of the moon. Do you know?
I'm trying to remember where I started actually, because I think I started on the front side of the moon. Did I take the shadow off? I don't remember.
You did
I took
later,
the shadow off.
but when you just showed it, when we're coming into it like that, and just like that, it looked kind of all bumpy and didn't look like our normal. So I assumed.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, because I had rotated around to the limb and what drove into that Clementine.
Right, that's right.
And that's on the. You can't see. But it's in the, so yeah, I was probably, I was probably playing a little bit with light there.
They're good. Okay, Eric, next slide, please. So the new moon challenge we had on June 25th, I think several of us went out and tried to find the moon that was about 18 hours old. And for whatever reason, maybe there was a little haze in the sky. It was pretty low. We didn't see it on June 25th, but on June 26th, Ray saw it. There's his photo and his documentation from up at Elk Grove. I took a picture from the rooftop of my house. Clearly popped out about 8:50, I think I caught it. And Doug texted me that he got a picture of it, but he hadn't yet processed it. And Doug, where were you?
I think you went to the bathroom.
He's not going to see the moon from there. Yeah, Doug Murray.
He can't in the mirror.
Okay, now we all know where Doug is. So the next new moon challenge. The next new moon challenge is coming up on July 24th. The new moon is at 11 p.m. So basically noon. So to see it that evening, a 6 or 7 or 8 hour old moon is going to be very difficult. But let's give it a try. It's more likely we're going to see it on the next evening on July 25th. So put that date on your calendar also for the new moon challenge. Okay, some other observations that were done recently by some of the members of the team hopefully include the astronomy target of the month, the trio of galaxies in Virgo. Anybody catch them yet?
I haven't tried yet.
Okay. That's nobody's image. That's just the image that was in the newsletter. So we've got some star parties coming up. So put the Virgo galaxies in on your list for trying to observe. And they're pretty high in the sky too, right? Virgo's pretty well centered up in the sky right now, so it should be obtainable.
I tried to pick a target that looked decent on our high altitude night.
Mm-hmm. 11 magnitude is a challenge though. It's not naked eye or binoculars for sure.
And not during full moon.
Right. Okay, if you go to the next slide, please, Eric. Recently, I don't know if you saw the photos already, but Eric and Omar are going to share with us their views or their experiences viewing the ISS transit. So Eric, why don't you tell us about yours first, and then we'll play Omar's YouTube.
Okay, well, to learn about when the transit was gonna happen, there's a site I frequent called transitfinder.com, I believe. And on that website, you can put in your location, specify a search radius, and it will try and find any transit within your area. So the location that it came up with was Turlock. So me and Omar drove down to Turlock separately. We were actually viewing from different locations. But that's how you can find where and when a transit will happen. And you can, it's not only the ISS, but you can look up other satellites as well, and it'll even show it to you for transiting sun. So this was a composite image of about 30 frames from a video that I took with my Smartoscope, the C-Star S50. The duration passing in front of the surface of the moon there was only about 1.39 seconds, so it's really quick. And I just used, I think I used star stacks to composite it. And let me switch over to Omar's here real quick.
Omar, tell us about your where you went and how you got set up.
Yeah, it was apparently right across the freeway from where Eric was. I was on just south of the Costco in Turlock. There's a park there that was very popular at night. Lots of stuff going on there. Yeah, the first car left when I got there, and then the next car was shooting off fireworks. Then some boondockers came in, and they had their camper van, and met up with another car and left slowly. Just a lot of weird stuff going on. I'm like, man, was this going to be worth it? I don't know. And as it was going along, my tracking started to mess up. So my altitude tracking was off. So all of a sudden it started drifting, and you'll see I didn't do the whole video. I just cut out the most relevant part, or cut to the most relevant part. But my moon isn't centered. So I was messing with my my little control pad as it was supposed to be approaching, but it turns out that the predicted time and the time that it went through were off by about 30 seconds.
Oh,
So it arrived 30 seconds early for me
Oh.
for what I thought. So I hit record. And I thought, okay, in about 30, 40 seconds, it should be going through. It was really about 8 seconds in. So I was messing with the moon to try to center it. And so I didn't quite get it. So you'll see what happened. And I actually didn't see it go by. It was kind of like off to the side of my view.
no, that's cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at the screen when that happened. You see, I was like it's kind of drifting. I saw something in the corner of my eye. I was like, oh, what was that?
You got it really good.
There it goes. That was it. And I wouldn't call that 1.3 seconds. No. Like it went by so fast.
Yeah.
I recorded for another 2 minutes looking at the screen. I was like,
Yeah.
I missed it.
So even though it was viewable, obviously, it wasn't visible.
No way.
It was in shadow. It wasn't reflecting any of the sun's light.
Right.
So you couldn't see it approaching the moon.
Yeah, you
I
had hope that everything was going to work right.
I was looking at the video. Yeah.
At what point did you realize you had it?
When I looked at the clock, well, like there's no way it's 2 minutes off. And then I checked again on the track, the app, and it was like already, on the other side of the sky. So it was like, okay, I'll stop it. And I went back, and that little thing that I kind of caught on the corner of my eye, that was it. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was watching the live video on my phone, and I expected to be able to see it just go across the screen, but I couldn't see it. So I thought I missed it too. And then I had checked my Spot the Station app, and it was saying, well, the next one is like in 90 minutes. So I was like, well, maybe I was like Omar off by a certain amount of time. So I didn't think I got it either.
Well,
But
you told me originally it was gonna be at 2022, and then you told me later on you thought it was gonna be at 2024. It turned out to be at 2022, 42.
yeah,
So the original numbers were right.
yeah. But in my head, I had 2022 in my head for some reason. Instead of 20.
Well, it was 22, 20, 42.
Yeah, 22, 20 of them.
Yeah.
But I had 22, 22 in my head for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I was like, oh. Good thing I hit record it, but I did. Oh, my 80 Orion 80 ED. It's a 80 millimeter and focal length 600 millimeter. So a 80 millimeter objective, and the mount was a Celestron Nexstar mount.
And your camera?
It was one of my VWO cameras.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
The planetary camera that I use.
And I wanted to point out, Omar has a YouTube channel. He has 7 subscribers, so he's looking for your help
Yeah.
to bolster his channel.
I-
Yeah,
Somebody else subscribed recently. Maybe more people subscribe.
we can triple his subscription
Yeah,
rate
that's
tonight. Yeah.
Right. It's funny. Because I have other channels too for different content. And
Oh, okay.
I kind of forgot about that.
So, okay, so don't go to the next slide yet, but
Okay.
I shared with you little packets of rice, right? So as I told everybody earlier, there's about 76 grains of rice in here. And I've selected 76 because that's the average lifespan currently in the United States. Okay, so
You're shy around.
yeah, if you're healthy and you live an average lifespan, 76 grains of rice is what you'll get. 76 years. And you know, in astronomy, we deal with these big numbers all the time. And I've struggled with that for a long time. In my work, I used to work with hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars. So I kind of had a good idea of in my mind and could understand up to about $1 million or multi-million dollars. But then when we start talking about millions and millions and billions, a billion is 1,000 million, then I lose this ability to grasp and comprehend and to relate to what those numbers mean. So I was looking for a way, using a thought experiment, of how I could kind of get my arms around these bigger numbers. So here we go. It's kind of intended to be a little interactive because I want to know, it'd be nice to know how you guys conceive big numbers. And what you think of. Doug and I have talked about this quite a bit. He shared with me, and so it's helpful to get insight from others. So go ahead and go to the next slide there, Eric. So if you've got your packets of rice and you see there that you got your 76 years for men and 81 years. And so it's easy to grasp that right there, right? Okay, so let's take the next leap and let's go to, instead of 76 years, let's go to 400,000 years. That's about the time that the human species has been on the earth. So I did the math, I did the conversion from weight of grains of rice to volume, and I came up with the result that 400,000 grains of rice, 400,000 years, will fit in 3 gallons. So that's 400,000 years right there. Okay. That's a lot of rice, but it's only 3 gallons too. So, okay, now let's take the next leap to 1 million years. Doing the math, then we get up to about 8 gallons. So now we have all of these. And yes, I drank all this milk myself. Okay. Yeah. I'm not lactose intolerant. There's 8 gallons. There's about 1 million grains of rice in there. Okay. So now you can kind of comprehend what 1 million is by looking at that. At least I can.
And the dinosaurs were gone 66 million years ago,
Mhm,
66
mhm.
times that.
And my little packet of rice fits somewhere in there, right? In that 1 million years. When we make the leap to 1 billion, this is where I kind of lose it. If you go to the next slide for me, Eric, I couldn't bring in 7,800 gallons. So I put 7,800 dots on the screen. So each one of those would represent one of these gallons full of grains of rice. And now we're to 1 billion grains of rice. It's a little tough to put your arms around that. If you go back to the previous slide now. And then when you think about the age of the earth being 4.5 billion, and then we talk about the age of the universe, the visible universe. What did we say earlier? 13.8 billion. Those numbers, for me personally, I can't comprehend that. I get to 1 million, and so with this illustration, it helps. But what works for you guys? What helps you guys? And we're just talking about time here, not other units like distance well, yeah, I guess just stick with time, just the units of time, the age of the universe and the age of the earth and so forth.
Toilet paper.
Explain.
There's a presentation where I forget how much toilet paper you use, but you use that to represent the 4.3 million years of the Earth. And, you know, so as in all other calendars, if it's tied to the emergence of humanity, is, you know, just the last few centimeters of the toilet paper.
Oh, not even a whole sheet, just a few centimeters of it. Okay.
Well, I've also seen a similar way of thinking about it where they use the a yearly calendar.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're at the very tiny corner of the calendar.
Like the last
Oh,
5
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
The last 5 seconds before midnight.
Yeah, before the new year.
Yeah, last few seconds of the last day of the year, just before New Year's, yeah.
Yeah.
Here comes Matt.
Mhm.
Humans.
I saw one really that I can't remember when, it was years ago, many years, decades ago, was seconds. 1 million seconds ago. It was like 11 days. And then 1 billion seconds is like 31 years or something like that. And so like just counting seconds, and then you start to think, damn, how many seconds have I wasted on my phone?
Yeah.
Just doing this. And it's like, I've got only so many seconds. And
So let's repeat that. So if I started counting one number a second, it would take me 11 days
to get to 1 million.
to get to 1 million.
Yeah.
That's counting 24 hours a day for 11 days. Okay.
Something like that, yeah. And then 1 billion is 30 years. or-
Half a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah. That puts it in some perspective there.
Right, yeah. Mm.
So how high can you count if you live for 76 years?
Yeah. Right. It's, Jeff, you're a math teacher. Have you had to share with your students these kind of,
But your calculus class is statistics and probability, we talk about entries are in the lottery and stuff like that. And kids that don't think their parent can win a lottery. So when you look at a 44 choose 5 lottery, and a bonus number of 27, you get 44 million combinations. So I would take a sheet of printer paper and just print colons all the way across.
print what?
Colons,
Colons.
A little dot.
and I get 2,800 dots on that. We would have to take thousands of those sheets and cover gymnasium floor with it. One of those sheets has one of the dots on the column circled in red. And then throw a dart in that room and you're gonna win the lottery if you hit the one with the red circle around it. Who is stupid enough to play this game?
1 in 44 million.
Who is-
That's a good illustration.
All the winners are.
Yeah.
We have an IQ test. That is the lottery. If you got low IQ, we have a special tax just for you.
Yeah. It benefits our schools though, right?
No, it does. I can't guarantee you, just not that.
So,
But yeah, large numbers like that, people do not have a grip on them. No, I'll tell you where my limit's at. It's around 7. It ain't around.
around 7.
There's like 6 little problems. I cannot close my eyes and visualize. And your working memory. I cannot close my eyes and visualize 13. Right. I can't do it. So they say that you can have about 30 really close friends. And you can have about 100 people you know. And beyond that, you just lose track. So the human brain is not built to understand and fathom these kinds of numbers. You know, mathematicians can play with them all they want, but we really do not comprehend.
Yeah.
By the way, I did my 200 to this day.
Yeah. What's kind of ironic is we're able to compute big numbers
Yeah.
with exponential notation, right? So big numbers 10 to the 50th power or whatever but yet to comprehend that it's impossible.
Our ass savers love those. Yeah, very agree. That's our azimuth logs.
Yeah.
You can have huge dynamic range with a small difference using logs.
Right.
And if you can manage logs in your brain, you got the world by your hands. And I claim that we're missing a really important log base. We use log base 10 calculator,
Right.
log base 8, 2.78. That's on your calculator. But we have a better number, and that's the fifth root of 100.
The
And
fifth
so
root.
that's what we're using magnitudes. And you can do log manipulation in your head with absolutely no sweat using that as a log base, 2.51188, and we don't do it. You can manage quintillions to a quintillion in your head with no problem at all using log base fifth of 100. And we don't do it.
You have to teach us some night.
If I give the flow between magnitude 1, 2, magnitude 3, it's 2.518.
I see.
So that's a logarithmic scale.
I
It's
see.
the easiest log scale there is, and we don't use it. Astronomers are smart enough to use it.
Mhm. Interesting. Well, it's food for thought. It was a good thought exercise. Thanks for sharing. Maybe in the future, we'll talk about big distances and how to comprehend those. Naturally, we have light years for those, but for a different topic. Okay, kind of a special treat tonight. Jink is going to share with us a trip that he took recently. And yeah, grab that microphone right there so that people on Zoom can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So recently I went to the Grand Canyon and I was able to go to the Lowell Observatory. And over there we had a few things that we can look at, and there were a bunch of telescopes. So we first went to a talk where they showed us some constellations, and some of the constellations were Leo, Virgo, the Big Dipper, Small Dipper, and Cassiopeia and Scorpius. Yeah. And at night we were able to go to see some telescopes. Over there I saw Mars and Mercury, and for stars I saw I think it's Arcturus. And we saw M4 and M80, which were right around there. Other than that, we were able to see the like different constellations again. And I had to leave a bit early, so I wasn't able to see the Andromeda Galaxy.
Did you have your own scope with you, or?
No, I wasn't able to carry it, so we just saw out of the telescopes that they had over there.
Oh, good experience.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. Were there a lot of people at the star party?
Yeah, a lot. There was like a talk before it, but I wasn't able to attend it because I was on this like bus to get back to the stop. So there was a talk before it, and then it was like fully covered with people. So yeah.
Very good. They had a lot of different telescopes set
Yeah.
up and.
Some people also brought their own telescope so they could see out there.
Mhm. Where is that? At the South Rim of the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, you could. There was like a event at the South Rim.
Grand Canyon Village?
Yeah,
And it was a good dark night?
yeah, it was.
Oh,
You
good.
could see the Milky Way.
Yeah. Oh, good for you guys. Excellent. Thank you for that. Okay, we're kind of wrapping it up here. We have one last item, and that's the word wonder, the council representing for the second month in the newsletter. Let's see. Pat gave me his.
Turned into something.
I have mine. John has his.
Are we supposed to be giving prizes?
Casey, you have one?
Yeah.
Excellent. So Jeff has buried a deep scientific fact in this puzzle, right? About the moon. And so, John, why don't you share with us what that deep scientific fact is?
I got the moon is probably not made of cheese.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. So,
We're not sure. but-
yeah, probably not.
But didn't they kick up debris when they landed?
He curves. Well, have any of us in this room been there and know for sure?
That's right.
So, if you completed your puzzle, come get a SAS sticker for your telescope or bathroom wall, whatever you like. And Jeff has conjured up another one for the August newsletter, so.
For September too.
I don't know if he can top this one, but thank you, Jeff, for doing that. Well, with
Every one
that,
has a mistake in it. The next two also have mistakes. You have to find a mistake.
Oh, for sure.
What was it?
Yes, edit.
Just edit.
Yes. There are two, they're right on top of each other.
Tim found another word too, I think.
yeah. They're fun to do. They're not easy either.
I'm
so.
trying to stick some dirty words in it.
I can spot those right away.
Yeah. I knew it.
Hey,
I'm gonna do that.
Michael.
Yeah.
Michael,
It takes no time.
we're trying to schedule the viewing of Cosmic Dawn, but why don't you whet our appetite a little bit?
Okay, there's two things I want to talk about.
Pardon me?
There's two things I want to talk about.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
I'm a NASA Solar System ambassador, and I have a movie called Cosmic Dawn about the building, launch, and discoveries of the James Webb Telescope from NASA. And I have it for free. I have a digital version that we can project, and it's about 90 minutes long. It's a really good movie with great images and a great backstory on the James Webb. So Tim and the club are working on figuring out a venue or some way of showing it. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
And then the second thing I want to talk about is I do work for the USS Hornet over in Alameda, the Carrier Museum. And we're having a celebration of the Apollo 11 splashdown on July 19th, which is a week from Saturday. The Hornet actually plucked out Apollo 11 as well as Apollo 12 and the AS-202, which was an unmanned test in 1966 of the capsule. They have a great Apollo exhibit. I'm going to be there representing NASA. There'll be, let's see, I'll just read who's going to be there. Sorry. The East Bay Astronomical Society, a traveling space exhibit, model rocket collection. If you're into Star Wars costume clubs, high school robotics, kids activity table. There'll be Hornet crew members to talk about what it was like to be there when they pulled out Apollo 11. My father-in-law served on a Hornet when it happened. He won't be there, unfortunately. But he was there. He was there as a crew member of the Hornet. And then a docent named Bill Miklos will give a presentation about the splashdown at 1 o'clock. And one thing I want to add is I talked to the author of a book about that a few weeks ago on the Hornet. The logistics behind the splashdown was absolutely crazy because there was so much involved in pulling the capsule out from the US Navy, as well as their fear of a bacterial infection from the moon to quarantine the astronauts for 3 weeks.
Wow.
And also Richard Nixon was there.
Yeah.
So they had the Secret Service, the world press, everybody on there, and they had protocols in case, one of the astronauts took off their biosuit and a supposed moon germs leaked out to get the president off the ship. Whole fascinating history of it. So Saturday, the 19th, a week from this Saturday, and just look up USS Hornet Museum. It's open from 10 to 5, and there is admission. But if you're a veteran or a senior or a student, you get a discount.
Great. Thank you, Michael. It's in Alameda, right?
It's in Alameda, yeah, you gotta drive through Oakland, take the tunnel, and then it's pretty close there to the old Alameda shipyard, or base rather.
I've always wanted to visit it because it has a Apollo capsule boilerplate.
Yeah, it's AS-202, which actually went into space, but yes,
Oh, it did?
it did. It was launched on a Saturn I. It did a 90-minute flight. It went like part way around the Earth, and they recovered it. The main thing they were trying to test was like the fuel cells in the spacecraft, the environmental systems, and the re-entry profile as well as the heat shield. So they took it up to about 700 miles above the atmosphere, turned on the engine on the service module, and really plowed it into the atmosphere to get some good re-entry data.
How fast was it able to get the entry?
They got about 20,000 miles per hour. And lower orbit, you re-enter at 17.5, and the moon was about 25. So they were trying to get higher up. And they did a lot of wind tunnel studies as well as mathematical models. And they discovered that they weren't quite correct on their modeling at about 30 to 40 Mach when they hit the atmosphere. So the spacecraft re-entered too soon, and it was like 8 hours away from the Hornet. So they had to steam over to get it because they didn't quite figure out the trajectories, and that's why we do flight tests.
They try to match the weight inside that command module.
That I don't know, but I would imagine that they did.
Okay.
And one of the cool things is they'll look at the instruments. So to record the data, they actually had a film camera recording the instrument moving. You know, 1960s tech.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, oh, it's an awesome mission. I can talk about hours about it, yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Sure.
Excellent. Well, I kind of come to the end of our program. Does anybody have anything else to add, comment? Did we miss anything?
I just a comment, I'm surprised you can go nuts trying to count out 20 bags of.
I did.
I guess it's a surprise, so.
Actually, it was Tim's turn to bring treats tonight.
Dinner time. Spare no expense for you all.
Water.
So,
That
Okay.
was, why did I only get 63? How old are you?
you better watch your diet. Eat more fiber, Doug. So, okay, thank you all. Look forward to seeing you at some of the upcoming events, and that'll conclude our meeting for tonight. Thank you all.